Welcome everyone to the AI Campa Show. May the 4th be with you. Today, a special podcast. We're going to talk about probably one of the most in this beautiful universe of Star Wars, and this all the things that is involved in that for us the fans is a very special occasion. So it's not only because what they represent is what the announcement or the things is coming also. So in a play of words, okay, today is the day of celebration for Star Wars. That's right. So talking about the Star Wars is kind of even not complicated, but it's satisfying. Okay, so where to begin? You see, Star Wars, if something shows us, is just mess everywhere. It's mess everywhere. Why? Because you don't follow one specific order. So in the time that you don't follow any specific order, where to start to talking about the Star Wars? Because today we're going to talk only about the Star Wars, from my experience and some historical tips. We should back to 1977, or I should go to what happened after 1977 and before 1980, or we can talk about 2011. So where they come from, where they come from, the word or the sentence, may the fourth be with you. And iconical talking is not coming for a movie. In 19, actually, I don't know if it's 1977 per se, because I was looking for that information. No, actually, it's 4th of May 1979. That was before the events of the Empire Strike Back. So the one of the political British party in emotion or as a salute to congratulate the Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. One of the slogan was May the fourth be with you, because it's exactly 4th of May 1979. That was the first time they using the sentence May the fourth be with you. Now 2011, a group of fans, they reunite together in Canada and celebrate the Star Wars Day. However, that was like unofficially, if we want to talk about that. But in 2012, when Disney buy the company to George Lucas, they established officially Star Wars Day, the 4th of May. That's right. So since then, they try to use them to announce games, toys, movies, series. But I mean, come on, it's a Star Wars. I mean, you can expect that whenever they want, but usually Disney use that day. And there is a huge celebration nowadays about the Star Wars, and all the fans gathering together with the cosplay, with the lightsaber, bringing the kids, bringing the old people. I mean, we're talking about this thing have 48 years. 48 years. Amazing. Amazing. 48 years. I mean, a franchise more older than this one, probably like James Bond, starting with Sean Connery. Probably, if I'm not mistaken, probably can be mistaken because I don't remember the exact date of Alien, for example, or Predator, example. I think it's from the 80s. So, talking about Star Wars, it, it brings me a lot of memory. When I was like 5 years old, 6 years old, I remember to see in my local TV A New Hope, episode 4. But I didn't pay too much attention until 1999 when I saw for the first time Star Wars in the big screen with the Phantom Menace and was blow my mind. Even the people doesn't like the Phantom Menace because Jar Jar Binks, which is an unnecessary character, but was unnecessary in the first movie. But thanks to him, all this mess in this in the Galactic Senate happened. But when you start to looking after to analyze Star Wars, you come with the idea of George Lucas. He created a script. He created all this magnificent universe that we have. But I want to try to put in the mind on him when he go to sell the movie, because he need to sell the movie to one company, or one big production company, can start the production of the movie. But I don't see how you enter in one meeting and say, I come in with one idea, this is my script, good. But when the person or the group of persons take the script, say part 4. Part 4. Where is part 3, 2, and 1? No, we're talking about that later. I want to do 4, 5, 6. You want to do 4, 5, 6. Okay. You know who do that? You know who do that? Something like this? Peter Jackson with The Lord of the Rings. He created The Lord of the Rings 1, 2, and 3, and then he go with The Hobbit. But there is no connection between The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. This one, they bring a connection like you connect, so they connect directly. Now, so I start to see. So yes, you have the, okay, this is the script, see, and you start to see things so much that you didn't see before in a movie. Of course, you have this kind of sci-fi movies in that time too, also a fantasy movie, but not at this level. Not at this level. So we're talking about Star Wars: A New Hope, and they bring some characters. So they bring some the eternal battle between the good and the evil. This time, the evil is who reign in the galaxy. So you have this farm boy that result to be the greatest Jedi, and then you have one smuggler like Han Solo, and one big ball football. It's called Chewbacca, a princess that you must rescue for the fortress of the evil, Princess Leia. And the wise guy who will be always behind you, who is called Ben Kenobi. No, Obi-Wan Kenobi, but they call him in the movie Ben. Well, that's good. He died by Darth Vader in a battle that in the moment was great because one lightsaber was never in the movie, but in terms of on compare with the rest of the movie, probably the the last one. For me, my top one, I'm going to tell it later. So talking about in 9 movies where they play on lightsaber, probably this is the number 9. So in the end, the good ones win. So no, they win the battle, not the war. And we go to 1980 when they coming Empire Strike Back, probably one of the best movie in the history of the cinema. I think it's the most ranked of all the 9 movies of Star Wars. The Empire Strike Back is darker because it's the revenge of Darth Vader and the Empire looking for eliminated all the rebels around the galaxy. So they started in Hoth, where it's ice. I think it's the denomination is Ice Planet. The Rebel Alliance was hiding there. But then after that, Luke go to Dagobah to meet Yoda. Yoda, the greatest Jedi ever existed, the most knowledge, and the most all of them. So that was good, no? Because that was teaching what is the way of the Force to Luke. And then he knows, and Yoda knows that he's going to face Darth Vader. But Yoda knows who is Darth Vader. But not us. And one of the most twist events in the history of movies, Luke, I am your father. Darth Vader reveals that he is the father of Luke. No, that is impossible. And then he cut the hand. Yes, I cut your hand. You know what? Let's stop the fight because I just cut your hand. And I am your papa. But I just cut your hand because just to make my point. We finish with that. Let's go to the events of Return of the Jedi. Luke more wise. Let's go to rescue Han Solo. Let's go to try to change my father. And in the end, just in the end, before he died, he did it. And they beat the galaxy. They beat the Empire. Ooh, nice. The war on Endor. Good. So, 1983 to 1999. So, we're talking about 16 years. 16 years happened. 16 years happened to con George Lucas again. Hey, look, I have 3 more movies. Episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. Now you bring it. Yes. But between this enormous gap, the unfortunately so many actors of the original trilogy, they passed. Alec Guinness passed. Peter Cushing also passed. And then George create with the magnificent cast episode 1. So we're talking about the events before the Battle of Yavin. The Battle of Yavin represented the point of between past and future in that moment. Then we have another point is the Battle of Endor. But the Battle of Yavin represents before and after. So years before the Battle of Yavin, which is the event or the galactic fight between the Rebel Alliance and the Empire in A New Hope episode 4. So we get how we created. So we have a old name, Obi-Wan Kenobi. So Obi-Wan Kenobi was just a Padawan of Qui-Gon Jinn, Liam Neeson and Ewan McGregor. There was no Sith that they know there was exist, because the before episode 1, and I go in there, the story says the Sith was eradicated. How we know the Sith was eradicated? Because, and this is one of the part of the data I have, because with the arrival of this movie, they don't come in only arrival. So this is the thing what is amazing about Star Wars, because in 1977, when they was created the first movie, which is the fourth one, around the movies there was TV specials, there was video games, and now something that we call the expanded universe of Star Wars is what everything is outside of the movie. But the very more specific here, okay, because the TV special was more for the 1983, and after that there was also animated movies like Droids. But there is one TV holiday special where Luke visit the planet of the Wookiees. But in 1977, so they create some. What did the expanded universe in that moment? Taking two references: the video games. The video games, but that was created more after the 80s, because the first game of Star Wars is for Atari 2600. Was the game Empire Strikes Back. That is the first game of Star Wars, which is all involved about the movie. But in 1977, Star Wars started to create some comics with Marvel. Then they passed to Dark Horse, but the first comic is in 1977, who adapted the events of A New Hope, and then they start all that line. By the 90s, so the games continue. Then in Super Nintendo, we got the 3 Star Wars bases in the movies, but then they start to having some video games. It's called Jedi Force. They talking about things where was after the events of episode 3. Sorry, episode 6. See, it's confusing. So after that, we get some video game. For example, one of the video games with more I like it, without touching anything else, is Star Wars that was for Nintendo 64, Shadow of the Empire, which is the start in Hot with Luke playing. You was in the snow speeder, and your mission was to take it down the AT-AT. Then we get in the body of Dash Rendar. Dash Rendar was a Corellian person who also having one ship almost equal, like the Millennium Falcon is called the Outrider. So they start to fighting and everything outside. Then we have a fight with IG-88, and then with the Princess Sandar. So you see, things is outside. So why I tell you this is because in the moment they arrived to that time, so we already know there was no Sith in episode 1. So the events of episode 1 coming very nice, very, very good. Everything was okay. Probably, first of all, is the Sith who less have a talk in the movie, which is Darth Maul. Fantastic Sith with probably the Sith with better skills, even more than Count Dooku, Darth Tyrannus. But in this movie, is the top one fight of all the 9 movies. We're talking about the fight between Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Darth Maul. The music of John Williams' Duel of the Fates is amazing. It's just another there. Then events happen. Qui-Gon Jedi, then revealed by Obi-Wan. Yes, this was a Sith. Now we go to the events of episode 2, the Attack of the Clones. So the Attack of the Clones have also in the parallel after they finish, they have two animated series. One was very short, who reveals the events between episode 2 and episode 3. Okay, and we get some information because it's literally linked. This is very linked because we had the golden arm of Anakin, the introduction of General Grievous, and why General Grievous was coughing in the end was because by the Force he was make oppression in the chest by Mace Windu when he was when the Chancellor Palpatine was Chancellor when Palpatine was taken by General Grievous. Now, until there, everything okay. So episode 2 brings us one of the most waiting battles. Was the battle between Yoda and Darth Tyrannus. The thing is, in the movie there is 3 battles. The battle between Obi-Wan and Darth Tyrannus, then Obi-Wan, then Anakin, Darth Tyrannus, then Yoda, Darth Tyrannus. And Darth Tyrannus win the 3 of them. Okay? Well, the last one is not like they win against Yoda. He just flew. Yeah. So, in this one, probably Yoda can be top. I will put it the number 4. Okay? By the way, the one we look with Darth Vader for me is the number 3. We're talking about the events of Empire Strikes Back. Number 5 is I put the battle of Darth Vader, Luke in the second Death Star in episode 6. I'm going to put in top 5. So the events of the Attack of the Clones, they give us one of the most also waiting and nice scenario was the Battle of the Jedi coming to rescue in Geonosia. They come to rescue Anakin and Obi-Wan, and all the battle was there. Father of Boba Fett died thanks to the hand of Mace Windu. And there was an iconic scene also when Boba took the helmet and put it in the face, okay, like mourning the father, and everyone we know that was the born of Boba Fett, iconic player, iconic character in the original trilogy, okay, but that was eaten by Sarlacc. Alright, so let's move forward. So then we come in episode 3. The conclusion of this one, everyone will know what will happen. Anakin already will grow up. And that was the reveal of Darth Vader, the born of Darth Vader, rise. Now, in the second part, my top second is the full battle between Anakin and Obi-Wan. Okay? Between Anakin and Obi-Wan. By the way, Jar Jar Binks is given the vote to the Senate to create the Attack on the Clones, the Clone Army. And of course, the clone army is going to derive in what we know about the stormtroopers. So, how he ends episode 3 is ends in the most beautiful way. The separation of the twins, and the twins, one is stay in Tatooine and another in Alderaan. Perfect. Until now, their connection, we already know. Ping, boom, bang, finish. More video games are for the movies, comics, toys, everything was. I think never. Star Wars was never out of the spotlight. I think. So, what is next? The Disney buy the rights with George Lucas after 2005. And we're talking about 7 years later, in 2012. And they come in with the idea to create 3 more movies, episode 7, 8, and 9. I remember the first picture was the new cast with Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, Anthony Daniels, and Mark Hamill. Wow. They bring the original cast. That was exactly what everyone was expecting. Now, until that point, that was good because you was going to connect the movies from the original trilogy to the new trilogy, not the prequels, it was the sequels. I must admit that nobody likes this movie. In fact, I think the huge growth of box is because all of us we want to see a new movie of Star Wars. But when we bring that movie, what we going to talk? Everything was in the expanded universe. A difference between before everything was not writing. Now everything was writing. Novels, books, comics. So you just need to adapt. So adaptation of the expanded universe, which is connected to the movies, because they take the essence of the movies in. Sorry, they take the essence of the movie to the creation of the expanded universe. It's not that the expanded universe, like Marvel, that they have a different universe. No, this is the same. This is the same. So they just need to adapt. And they didn't. They didn't. Okay, it's good, the mystic. The mystic between that Luke disappeared and what happened with Han Solo. So what happened with everyone? Then we learned that Arturito was disconnected, was shut down by himself. The only one who was talking as usual was C-3PO. And then we know that the Resistance, that is they call now the Resistance, is led by Princess Leia. Han Solo and Chewbacca out there. In the end, they met with Rey, principal character of this trilogy, and they're looking for Luke. Now, this is coming to what I want to talk. The biggest issue here is that they try to do something new, and that is why a lot of people is saying that this cannot be canon. See, they mess with they just need to adapt the history. You don't need to create a new history, and that is exactly what they do. They create something new. They should not. And this is nothing to do beyond the director. It's just common sense that everything was already created. Just adapt Like I say, this is not Marvel. Marvel, you can say the Universe 666, the Universe 123, the Universe 425. But no, Star Wars is just one big universe who is connected between everything, games, comic books. I've been saying that since the beginning. So this is the point. Why I say this with so much energy? Because in the expanded universe, we're talking about the balance of the force. And the balance of the force is made by the sons of Leia and Han Solo, which is three. Two of them was one a Sith and another was a Jedi. So the balance of the force is made by their own blood. Ben is actually Ben Solo doesn't exist there. The only Ben is the son of Luke Skywalker with Mara Jedi is called Ben Skywalker, which is with his if I'm not mistaken, it has something to do with the Force, but it's not like a Jedi like the father. They don't introduce they didn't introduce Mara Jade, which is a principal character in the life of Luke Skywalker after the events of Episode 6. And I mean, you have so many characters and they didn't. Okay, so we have a new order, try to connect with the Star Killer base, which is, I don't know, 100 times more big than the Death Star. So the episode 7 is a scene of episode 4. In the end, they be able to destroy it. So happened the death of Han Solo by the hand of Ben. Ben, he managed to capture the head in Endor, and I don't know how. Unless Luke keep it for him. This is something they don't say about. Unless Luke keep it for him, keep the head of Darth Vader, because he was burned and buried in Endor. So the events, the Rebel Alliance wins, and so they will go to episode 8. The worst movie of all. Poof. I don't know. Really. I didn't like anything from the top, from the beginning. From the beginning to the end, nothing. Well, anyway, we focus more in Leia, the journey of Leia, which is good, and yeah, of course, Luke was training Rey in much that he can. In a character very confusing, and that's the thing when I didn't like it, because Luke in the expanded universe is very wise, very, very wise, and it's very kind. Here is more hunting for the past, for the events that happened with Ben. And yet, Yoda appears and still telling him, you still has much to learn. Yoda is able to create a physical team with the form of the Force. That never happened before. Happened that appears Ben Kenobi to Luke, okay, and everyone will know that there was a communication between Qui-Gon Jinn and Ben Kenobi, because that's one delete scenes in episode 3 where it appears Qui-Gon talking with Yoda to help him understand how he can communicate after the Force. And then recently we saw in the series of Obi-Wan. So they go against the bad guy, they kill him very quickly, then there is a love-hate history between Rey and Ben. I mean, anything was good in that. Seriously, I'm talking about that. I'm talking because I am a fan, but not because I really like it. And then we have episode 9, which is at least it's a little bit better than episode 8. The event or the death of Carrie Fisher lead to the end of Princess Leia. So we already having here the 3 characters already dead. The 3 characters, the main characters already dead. Probably the one who Luke still understand that he was using all his energy to he can project himself 1,000 kilometers away. But to be able, you can lose the life like that. I don't know. That he was very strong with the Force. Actually, the death by the hand of Van didn't do anything because he started to realize because he don't even care that he tried to kill his own mother in the ship in episode 8. So he started to realize who he is and everything in episode 9, which is appears again the figure of Han Solo actually. So in the end, well, Rey is Palpatine, blood of Palpatine. That's the only thing I'm going to say. The only thing I'm going to say from there was to see again Palpatine was nice and see Lando again was nice, and that's it. That's it. We finished. Now they want to create a new trilogy with Rey as a main character. I don't know what I don't know. We have the non-Force movies, especially one of the greatest movies of Star Wars under the Star Wars is Rogue One, which is have the events and the direct connection between episode 3 and episode 4, and actually the end of Rogue One is with episode 4. Then we have the new series, the animated series for Rebels. Then we have we finished the episode 2 with Attack of the Clone. Then we got the Rebels. It's the events of episode 2 to 3, and everything would happen just before 3 and during the 3, okay? And also after the 3, all that was a parallel history. The video games also was telling, for example, Star Wars Jedi Starfighter, no, Star Wars Starfighter, not Jedi, Star Wars Starfighter. It have some history after the events of Naboo in episode 1. More video games. The rest of the video games that we have, who is before episode 1, Star Wars: The Old Republic. Now with the new series, they try to tell us things between episode 6 and 7. Like for example, Lando. There is coming the new movie. Lando. So the Lando no. It's coming one series about Lando actually. It's 2026. One series about Lando. But no, we're talking about the Mandalorian. The Mando. This is what is coming to my mind. Mando was narrated, and also Ahsoka, about the events between episode 6 and episode 7. Okay? In fact, we have so many cameos interested and lines and things so much interested, so much nice. Then we get another series is called Andor, which is the character, and all this is in before the events of Rogue One. And a very nice series. Seriously, I recommend it. Tenemos a Skeleton Crew, which is after episode 8. We have also Acolyte, which is very nice to also to see. Very nice, and I want to say something. It's very nice in the way to you understand more about that. It's no the central line of Skywalker. There is so many things around the universe. Okay, so the thing is, and this is what I want to record. The thing is that Star Wars is going to give you more things, but I wish to everything be more based in what we already have. It's a good way to introduce a Mara Jade Skywalker. Probably they can introduce there as a character that Luke didn't want to talk about that, but it exists in like a parallel history. We never know. Games are still coming, which is good. There is so many collaboration now. We have the Fortnite with the Star Wars event, which is very good. I recommend to everyone. So that's it. What is coming for the future? It's coming just now the movie about the Mandalorian and Grogu. We have also the new series of Orlando is going to come in 2026. And we have some productions still unknown the name. So I don't have anything more to say to all of you that the force be with you always.